Hello everyone and welcome to TNB Academy. And today's session focuses on one of the most critical aspects of ISO 28001, risk assessment methodologies in supply chain security. A thorough risk assessment is the foundation of any effective security management system, helping organizations identify, evaluate, and mitigate potential threats to the supply chain. Importance of risk assessment in ISO 28001. In any global supply chain, risk can come from various sources: physical threats like theft or sabotage, cyber threats, natural disasters, or regulatory challenges. ISO 28001 provides a structured approach for identifying these risks, understanding their impact, and taking steps to reduce their likelihood. Risk assessment allows organizations to make informed decisions and allocate resources efficiently to secure their supply chains. Key risk assessment methodologies in ISO 28001. Threat identification. The first step in risk assessment is identifying potential threats to the supply chain. These could be external or internal, including physical threats such as theft, vandalism, or terrorism. Cyber threats like hacking or data breaches that compromise sensitive information. Environmental risks including natural disasters like floods, earthquakes, or pandemics. Human factors such as insider threats, human error, or supply chain disruptions caused by strikes. By creating a comprehensive list of potential threats, organizations can better prepare for what might go wrong. Vulnerability assessment. Next, it's important to conduct a vulnerability assessment to understand how exposed your supply chain is to these threats. This involves examining weak points in the supply chain where risks could have the greatest impact, such as transportation routes, which might be vulnerable to hijacking or accidents, warehousing and storage, where goods might be left unsecured, IT systems, which could be compromised by cyber attacks if not properly secured, suppliers who may not have the same security standards, creating weak links in the supply chain. The goal of a vulnerability assessment is to highlight areas where additional controls or security measures are needed. Risk analysis. Once threats and vulnerabilities are identified, the next step is to perform a risk analysis. This helps to determine the likelihood of a risk occurring, the potential impact of the risk on the supply chain, whether it's a financial loss, a delay in the shipments, or damage to reputation. Risk analysis often involves using risk matrix or heat maps to visually represent the risks, categorizing them based on their probability and impact. For instance, a high probability, high impact risk would require immediate attention, while low probability, low impact risks might be monitored but not prioritized. Risk evaluation and prioritization. Once the risks are analyzed, they need to be evaluated and prioritized. This involves ranking risks in terms of their criticality to the organization. The key questions to ask are: which risks pose the most significant threat to supply chain operations? Which risks can cause long-term damage, whether in terms of costs, reputation, or regulatory penalties? ISO 28001 encourages organizations to focus resources on mitigating the most critical risks first, ensuring that the supply chain remains secure even in the face of the most severe threats. Risk treatment and mitigation strategies. After evaluating the risks, organizations must implement risk treatment strategies to mitigate or eliminate the risks. These strategies can include avoiding the risk by changing suppliers, transportation routes, or modifying operational practices, reducing the risk by introducing additional security measures like surveillance, access controls, or cybersecurity protocols, transferring the risk through insurance of outsourcing certain parts of the supply chain to more secure partners, accepting the risk if the cost of mitigating it outweighs the potential impact. Effective risk mitigation involves balancing costs and security needs, ensuring the organization is not overspending on low-impact risks while addressing high-priority threats. Continuous monitoring and review. Risk assessment is not a one-time process. ISO 28001 emphasizes the importance of continuous monitoring and review. As the global landscape changes, whether through geopolitical shifts, technological advancements, or natural disasters, supply chain risks evolve. Therefore, organizations must regularly review their risk assessments, update their mitigation strategies, and conduct security audits to ensure the effectiveness of their measures. Tools and techniques for risk assessment. ISO 28001 encourages the use of a variety of tools and techniques to conduct risk assessments. These may include SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, which helps in identifying both internal vulnerabilities and external threats. Fault tree analysis (FTA) and failure mode effects analysis (FMEA), which focuses on identifying where failures or breaches are most likely to occur. Scenario planning, where organizations simulate different risk scenarios such as a cyber attack or a natural disaster and assess how their supply chain would respond. Checklists and audits, ensuring that all key elements of the supply chain are regularly reviewed for security risks. To sum up, risk assessment methodologies in ISO 28001 provide a structured approach to identifying, analyzing, and mitigating supply chain risks. By using these methodologies, organizations can protect their operations from potential threats, reduce vulnerabilities, and ensure that their supply chain remains secure and resilient. Thank you for joining us today. Stay tuned for more insights on how ISO standards can enhance your supply chain security and business resilience. If you have any question, feel free to ask, and if you have found value in our videos, please do subscribe to our channel and share it with your professional colleagues. Thank you.